It's Sunday. We have a new week ahead, and I'm just reviewing charts and what happened on Friday. I didn't trade on Friday. I'm getting myself into the habit of reviewing the tape. And so after a day, maybe at the end of the day or the next day, the next morning or something, before trading, just, quickly go through a replay. Trading View makes this super easy because you can do it, it's just really easy on TradingView. But anyway, I've been adding in these two key levels on my intraday trading charts, and they've been very helpful. So, of course, some of the levels that we have as intraday traders may be, and of course, depending on what we're trading, but previous day high, low, that's a given. Sometimes it's London, high, low, Asia, high, low, depends on what you're trading. So for me, trading the S&P 500 index, the SPX, this is very helpful. And what I do is you can't mark this, well, I don't mark it on the SPX chart. I use the ES 500 mini futures chart to mark out like Asia high low, London high low, because the futures markets are open 23 hours a day, 6 days a week. So two levels that I started placing on my chart are midnight opening price and 7:30 opening price. So if you think about opening price, and let's say you have a bias that day, you think that the market goes higher, then you should definitely see price moving above the opening price, right? And this is how the candle will form, right? The candle will do this and that throughout the day, maybe some of that, but it should be going higher. The same goes if you're bullish, right? Opening price, you should see price move lower than its opening price and the candle form towards that way, right? So, basic concept. So moving along to how I chart this out. So I take a vertical line and I mark out midnight open. I take another vertical line, mark out 7:30 open, and then I mark the levels over here. So we see this here. Let's apply those to a chart. I'm watching the 15-minute chart and I'm entering trades with the 1 minute chart. So let me walk you through this. So I fast forwarded this data up until about a little bit after 10 a.m. on Friday morning. But let's go over here to number one. So number one, this is what I've noted as a test and retest of the midnight open. So this happened before the New York session. So I sit down to my desk, like let's say about 8 a.m. in the morning. And so, I come and go before the market opens, but, I could have spotted this on Friday and said, oh, okay, we tapped the midnight open. We didn't really sweep it, but we tapped it. So then when you come into the market, or at least when I come into the market, I'm watching and I'm seeing the market trade lower. Now, if I had a bias that the market would go higher, then what I'd like to see is for the price to be under the 7:30 open or the midnight open, or at least at the 7:30 or midnight. Because if you think about a daily candle, like a full day's price action, in order for the price to end higher, in order for the price to end higher, we need to be above these opening prices, right? So here, this tap here, now honestly, I would have just been watching, and anybody could go back in hindsight and say, this is where I would have entered. But the likelihood of that is probably slim. So if I didn't enter here, maybe I think, I saw these three candles on the 1 minute, and I'm like, I don't know, is the market turning down? Like, what's going on? This next candle here, this one right here, this would tell you that we didn't displace or sweep under this low here. And so the next candle is helpful. This is a 1 minute chart, so you're only waiting 1 minute to get some more confirmation that we will continue higher. But then a fair value gap is created. Now that's a really good place for an entry. And so I could have entered here, and then rolled this up. So rewinding a chart and watching the tape in this way is super helpful, because earlier when I was looking, I was like, oh my gosh, what happened right here? Like, what, like, sorry, let me get the pointer in the right spot. What happened right here? Well, when I looked, some consumer news came out. So, excuse me. So some economic data came out, consumer sentiment news came out. And so this really was helpful to me in this moment, because sometimes I'm not sure when I want to scalp or when I want to hold longer for like a longer intraday trade. And so I've decided that I can, focus on scalping before 10 a.m. and then try to get out of my trades, so that way, I'm not trapped into a trade, because I'm trying whatever. And so anyway, this was like a big aha to me. Like I've been trading now, intraday for a couple of months, but it really just hit me. I was like, okay, if there's news on the day, just scalp. That's it. Like, see if you can get in and get out, and that's it. Like, really quickly. I don't care if it's 4 points, right? It's enough. You're just scalping. Don't try to be too greedy. And then the other thing is, number four here. So the consumer sentiment took out liquidity. It took out this liquidity on the way up here. And then it took out all this liquidity down and tapped into a fair value gap. Now, if I had entered here, and let's say if I didn't, just try to scalp and, try to get out before the news, say if I was still in that trade, well, if I entered somewhere around here, my stop would have been under here somewhere, like at least in this area. Some people would put it under here. I'm not sure that I would, to be quite honest. I think that's a great idea, like if you are, very comfortable with that, but I'm not. So, mine would have probably been lower. I mean, just a little bit higher here. And so, nonetheless, it tapped into this fair value gap, into this premium, and then, it stayed above the 730 open. So, let's just see what it looks like if we, continue. And so let me get back here for 1 second and let me just let this trade play out. So, what happened on Friday? This is what we're looking at here. This is going kind of slow, but I'll just let it play. So, that was a really good entry down here. And that was a good trade. So say if after 10, because we're still above the 730, if I wanted to come back in, we tap the 730, but you're still in the trade. This is a really good Friday trade. But I'm trying to get out the habit of trading on Fridays. So, yeah, so that's how that played out. So, this is the power of going back in and reading the tape, rewinding the tape. This is the power of adding opening price to your key levels that you're watching. And of course, other key levels are previous day high, previous day low, London high, London low, Asia high, previous week high, previous week low. Now, you don't have to have all that stuff on your chart, but it helps me. And so that's some of the stuff that I put on my chart. So I'll stop sharing here because we can see that this would have been a profitable trade. So that's my study for today.